Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and today we're going to do a quick class that you can do after you've been on a long flight. So instead of starting seated like we normally do, we're going to just stand up right away because you're probably sick of being seated in a confined space. So let's just start at the top of our mat. We're going to bring our feet a little bit wider than the edges of our hips. Interlace your fingers behind the lower back. Roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. As you inhale, lift the collarbones up towards the sky and let's move into a fold on the exhale. Keep the knees softly bent here. So opening up the shoulders. Little bit of a bend in the knees to protect the hamstrings and the lower back. Let the neck relax. Maybe shake your head a few times from side to side. And let's release the fingertips to the ground. Stretching out the IT band, cross your right foot behind your left. Bring your fingertips as far over towards the left as you can. So you're bending your left knee, keeping the right leg straight, and press into your right hip as you fold. So this should feel like a nice stretch on the outside edge of your right leg. And switching sides back to center, cross your left foot behind the right. Bend the right knee, press into the left hip, and bring your fingertips over towards the right. Folding a little bit deeper. Uncross back to center. Bend the knees generously and slowly roll all the way up to stand. Let's bring our left hand on our waist, recross that right foot behind the left, and reach your right arm up and over. So really nice long side bend here. Uncrossing, switch sides, right hand on your waist, cross your left foot behind the right, left arm reaches up and over. Really press the hips open. And release. Standing at the top of our mat. Big toes touch. Heels are an inch or so apart. Let's just take a nice flow. Inhale, arms extend up. Bring the palms to touch. And then exhale, fold forward. Find a halfway lift. Inhale, flat back. And then exhale, fold once more. Let's do two more like this. Inhale, lift up halfway. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, fold in a little bit deeper. Last one, inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften in. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Step your right foot back. Drop the right knee down to the mat. Come into your low lunge. Both arms extending up. Maybe the palms can come to touch as you press your hands together and lift the gaze up. Release fingertips to the mat. Straighten your left leg for half splits. So just opening up the legs, folding forward. Keep the hips and the shoulders squared to the front of the mat. Bending into your left knee once more. Let's find a twist with a quad stretch. Right palm down on the mat. Inhale, left arm reaches up. So open up the chest and maintain that opening as you reach for your right foot with your left hand and draw it in. Keep rolling the left shoulder back, looking up. Releasing the back foot. Bring your left palm down to the mat. Coming into tabletop pose. Lift your left heel up towards the sky. Arch your back slightly. And drop the left knee down to the mat, lowering to the belly. Keep the elbow squeezing in towards the chest. Finding Cobra, pressing the feet into the mat, chin and chest lift up. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So our first down dog, one of my favorite poses to do after I've been traveling for a long time. So feet are about hip width distance apart. Bend the knees as much as you'd like. Spread the fingertips wide. Move around, walk a little bit. Lift the heels off the mat, bend the knees, look forward. Step both feet in between the hands. Halfway lift when you get there, flat back. And exhale to fold. Press to stand, both arms reaching up overhead, palms come to touch. Exhale, hands at the heart. Second side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. 3 halfway lifts. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, reach the heart forward. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold, fingertips to the mat. Let's step our left foot back and drop the left knee down on the ground. We're making our way into our crescent lunge. Arms are extending up. Maybe bringing the palms to touch as you drop the hips. Get that nice stretch in the hip flexors. And fingertips to the mat, half splits. Straighten the right leg and fold. Opening up the hamstrings gently. Let's bend into our right knee. Keep the left hand down on the mat. Extend the right arm up for a twist. Open up the chest. Maintain this opening as we move into the quad stretch, catching the left foot with the right palm as you draw it in. Nice long breaths in and out through the nose. Let's release the back foot. Palms to the mat. Find your tabletop pose. We're going to kick the right heel up, arch the back slightly, engage the glutes. And then release your right knee to the mat, lower down to the belly. Inhale, find your Cobra. Open up the chest. Exhale, down dog. From our downward facing dog, let's reach the right leg up towards the sky, bend the right knee and open up that hip. Maybe doing a few hip circles here. Re-straighten your right leg. Internal rotation. Let's come into Pigeon Pose. Right knee goes behind the right wrist. Lengthen the left leg back behind you. On an inhale, you're lifting the collarbones up high. And then exhale to fold. Here for 5 to 8 very deep, long breaths. Try to keep the hips and the shoulders leveled so you're not leaning on one side more than the other. And lifting back up. Coming back to downward dog, so curl the back toes under. And then lift that back leg up. Any little movements you need to do here. Pressing into the upper thigh bones. Chest is reaching towards the thighs. Second side, let's extend the left leg up and back. Bend the left knee, open up that hip. Doing those same circles here. And let's straighten the left leg. Internal rotation, coming into Pigeon Pose. Left knee behind your left wrist. Reach the right leg back behind you. Take an inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to fold. 5 to 8 breaths on this side. Soften the shoulders and the upper body as much as you can. Let gravity do the work for you here. Breathe deeply into your left hip, inviting it to open and release. Another wonderful pose to do when you've been sitting for a very long time. And let's start to lift back up, making our way into our downward facing dog. Let's take a full vinyasa from here. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga, lowering halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's lift the heels, bend the knees, step or hop forward. Find a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Press to stand. Come all the way up to the top of the mat. And let's bring the hands at the heart. So let's step the feet wide towards the edges of the mat, and we're going to start with our heels in, toes out. So external hip rotation, bending into the knees. And we're going to bring our hands onto the upper thighs, so just releasing the inner groin and the shoulders a little bit. Drop the right shoulder down, roll the left shoulder back. And use your right hand to really press into the inner thigh, so you get a nice stretch there. Switching sides, left shoulder down, right shoulder back. Coming back to center, let's bring our fingertips to the mat, Skandasana. Bend your right knee, keep the left leg straight, flex the toes. Moving from side to side, take a few here. You can go at your own pace for this one. This tends to be quite different from person to person, so you might not be going down this slow, which is perfectly fine. See if you can maintain the knees pressing open, toes pointing up towards the sky. We'll take one more sequence. So both sides. And one more. Coming all the way back up. Let's turn both feet parallel to the short edges of the mat and fold down. Palms can stay on the mat. If you'd like to take this a little bit deeper, we're going to grab a hold of the big toes with the two pinky fingers, bending the elbows away from each other as you intend to reach the crown of the head down. Open up the hamstrings. And let's release palms to the mat. Toe heel your feet, a little bit wider than the hips, heels in, toes out, Malasana, yogi squat, hands at the heart. Use your palms pressing at the center of the chest and the elbows pressing against the inner knees to open them up a little bit more. Lift the chest up a little higher. And let's release, come to seated. Let's keep our left foot in, right leg out. Toes are pointing up towards the sky. So just coming into a side bend, slide your right palm down your leg. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over. Keep rolling that left shoulder back. And to open the chest and get a little bit more into the shoulders, you're going to maintain this shape, but you're just going to open your left arm up, straight up towards the sky, as if you were going to twist your chest open. This is a really deep stretch. And coming back up, plant your left palm on the mat. Swing your right arm up and over to lift the hips. Setting ourselves back down on the mat and switching sides. Right foot in, left leg out. Toes are pointing up. Slide your left hand down your leg. Inhale, right arm reaches up and over. Starting with the side bend first. Find the breath. Smooth and steady. And then we open the right arm up. So twisting the chest open to the ceiling. Use your obliques to lift yourself back up to center. Plant the right palm down, swing the left arm up and over to lift the hips, leaning back a little bit. And release down to the ground. Let's lower onto our backs. Off with a twist. I tend to always do a twist after I've been traveling. It just feels wonderful. It's a great way to release the lower back. So we're going to reach our arms out into a T, bend the knees, just lift your hips and shift them a little bit over to the left. I'm going to cross my left leg over my right before dropping both knees over to the right. So you want to keep your left shoulder on the mat at all times. so that your collarbones are facing up towards the sky. 5 deep breaths. Engage the abdominals to lift the knees back up to center and uncross. Let's switch sides. Hips go over to the right. You're going to cross your right thigh over your left before dropping both knees over to the left. So this time, keep your right shoulder on the ground. Let's lift the knees back up and uncross. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Coming into happy baby, holding onto the big toes with the 2-piece fingers. Heels lifting up towards the ceiling, stacking your ankles over the knees. Use your elbows to press against the insides of the legs. And let's make our way into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Stretch out the arms and the legs, take up lots of space, and just notice how your body feels now as opposed to when you first stepped onto your mat. Hopefully you've gotten rid of any aches and pains that you might have had after your flight. And I hope you enjoyed this sequence. This is my personal practice that I like to do after a flight, so hopefully you'll like it too. Thank you so much for doing this video with me. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. It makes a huge difference and it really helps support the work that I do. Thank you again. Namaste.